good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women executives.
Looking to grow your business? At Afia TV, we've got just what you need. With our various on-screen advertising options like spacebags, lower third, sidebars, right in front of your audience. With our lower third, your brand messages appear during the most viewed programs on TV, allowing your audience to see your message without interrupting their TV experience. Now, if you want to go big, our spacebar is ideal because it puts your brand messages on spotlight without interrupting viewers' experience. With our sidebars, your brand messages also takes the spotlight on our screen, ensuring brand exposure. These advertising options are affordable, effective, and designed to drive results. Get started today and watch your business shoot up. For more inquiries, call the numbers on your screen.
You're still watching the Afia Business Morning, and this is the second half of the Eastern Business Report. And of course, it's designed to bring you up to speed on business activities and policies affecting businesses and the economy of the Southeastern region of Nigeria. And yes, indeed, and we're going to be looking at something very intriguing, of course, on this particular session of the Eastern Business Report, and which is going to be the fact that Nigerians are hoping against hope as economic struggles, well, intensify. May interest you to know, as far as the report has it, that since the inauguration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration and the rollout of his renewed hope agenda, Nigerians have found themselves grappling with one of the worst economic crises in recent history. While the government insists that its policies will yield long-term benefits, millions of citizens are sinking further into poverty, with many questioning if the promised prosperity will ever come. From skyrocketing inflation to an unrelenting foreign exchange crisis, the Nigerian economy has continued its downward spiral. And interestingly too, according to the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS), inflation reached about 33.88% in October, the highest in almost 2 decades. Food inflation alone stood at 39.16%, making basic staples like rice, beans, and bread unaffordable for millions of families. Now, this and more will form the basis of our session here together. My name, by the way, is Ubong Kings. Welcome. Welcome back, and joining me on this conversation around the subject of Nigerians hoping against hope as the economic situation bites harder, becomes tougher. I mean, Christmas is just a few days from today, but then story for another day. You want it to be. Now, joining me on this conversation is Emeka Dom, who is a development communication expert and journalist as well as a seasoned public affairs analyst. It's good to have you join me. Good morning.
Good morning, and compliments on the season.
Yes, my brother, compliments to you too. But is there something to compliment about the season? Story for another day. Hold on to your thoughts. And just before we get into this conversation proper, I was opportune to see a certain video about Mr. President earlier in the year, where he was talking about the things he's planning to make happen in Nigeria. We're just going to see how well he has done and where we are right now with reference to how far so far. Let's take a look at that report, and when we come back, this conversation continues. Please stay.
President Tinubu talked about making difficult choices, such as eliminating fuel subsidy and relieving a small number of people who were choking Nigeria's foreign exchange system, which benefited only the wealthy.
To become your president.
He acknowledged that these two choices caused discomfort to Nigerians. However, he said that hard times don't last. In 2024, President Tinubu said his administration will focus on accelerating the pace of
petroleum products with Port Harcourt refinery and the Dangote refinery, which shall fully come on stream.
The president also pledged to accelerate efforts to cultivate 500,000 hectares of farmland nationwide to boost food supply. To boost investors' confidence, he reiterated commitment to remove any hurdle to foreign investment.
That I lead will continue to show.
Not just that people are talking. A good number of us are talking. There's really not. It doesn't seem to be much happening on ground. Now, if you follow what the president was saying there, and now I want to look at the things on ground. Yes, the Port Harcourt refinery, the local refinery, it's a refining of crude, may have actually kicked off in terms of the Dangote refinery and lately the Port Harcourt refinery, even though there are still a lot of issues.
Yeah.
But one would have expected, because this statement was made at the beginning of the year. One would have expected that by December, we would have just gone past Port Harcourt 1 and probably heading to Port Harcourt 2, or even beyond that. But here we are, the Port Harcourt 1 just came on stream, and I'm not quite sure that, that is exactly what we expect in terms of food production. Now, that is number one. Now, the president talked about, removing the hurdles about, foreign investment.
Right.
Now, let me say this. Year in, year out, our leaders run around the whole globe looking for, FDI. But I need to tell you that the beginning of every meaningful investment in every country is local investors themselves.
Sure, I agree totally.
Now, there are things that attract investment. It's not just what you say. It's not just what you say. That you have said it doesn't make much meaning. It's what is on ground, what people see. Now, let me tell you, if you look at the Nigerian context, in the past, there are a lot of challenges here, but in spite of that, investors come in. Now, what is it that is attracting them in spite of the challenges that we have? One is the issue of energy. Before now, energy has been relatively affordable in Nigeria. And let me tell you also, there's nowhere in the world where a vital component of energy security is left to be determined by market forces. I don't think so. Study America, study China, study India, study Britain, study France. You can even come to South Africa here in Africa.
Yeah.
Now, the most important aspect of energy security, government will always make sure that it is kept within affordability. Because these are the things that, and in recent times, a lot of major producers and manufacturers have left Nigeria. What has been the reason? Production cost. None of them has cited insecurity. even though there is a whole lot of insecurity. That tells you that insecurity can be surmounted to an extent. A lot of them have cited high production costs. And when you produce at an excessively high cost, the purchasing power of the people is not commensurate to buy at whatever price you put it, because you must make profit. If it takes you ₦1 million to produce this laptop, you're going to fix the selling price at a point that you will recover your production costs and make profit to be able to stay in business. Now, if the people you're going to sell the laptop to don't have the money to buy the laptop, of what reason? Even if there are 1 billion people who are interested in buying, but they don't have the resources to buy, it just remains at a mere wish. Now you move away from energy costs. You come to the cost of labor. Labor in Nigeria has also been relatively affordable. And that is why a lot of these companies come here, they employ our people. And they pay them a salary that people can at least relate to. A salary that can enable them meet their own personal objectives and goals. A salary that they can use to keep themselves, keep their family, and keep their life going. But right now, can you really say so? A lot of organizations are laying off. More and more people are falling back into the unemployment, margin. And as they are falling back into the unemployment margin, they are heading towards poverty line. More and more people are heading towards poverty. Because whatever salary you pay anybody today, I doubt if it can make meaning. I doubt if that salary can, find a place within the economic realities of our time. These are the issues. Now, the president has just read the 2025 budget, which is a different all thing together. For me, a budget of, in those days they say, look, let's go and boo-boo them. Maybe you just go and talk to probably people who don't have the capacity to decode, comprehend and decode what you are saying. You just go and boo-boo them. And they will agree and clap for you and you walk away, everybody. But in reality, you want to bring inflation rate from 34 or so to 15 in 12 months. How can you do that? What was it in 2014? I mean, at the beginning of this year. So if we were not able to achieve more than 50% reduction in 2024, what makes you think you're going to achieve that in 2025? The 2.6 million barrels of crude oil you are targeting, is it realistic? What is on ground that can help you achieve that? It's not just because you have said it.
You see, that's one of the questions we've been asking. Is the issues in delivery, is it a function of faulty policies, or is it a function of poor leadership or poor choices?
You see, the truth is that policies of governments must be evidence-driven, not merely by wish. Look, I just wish that, by end of this year, by 31st of December this year, I need to find myself in America. I want to say Happy New Year to American people. Now, that is a wish, right? Now, you begin to pressure practically everybody and everything around you towards achieving that goal. But do you have the basic requirements, what it takes to do it? Or are you just going to pressure people for nothing? At the end of the day, you won't achieve it. But you would have completely, disorganized people's system and procedures. Even though you know that the indices on ground can realistically achieve that. That is this is what I find to some of the policies that we have. We have. So at the end of the day, what are we talking about? You talk about the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics giving you figures. I don't have any problem with that, because these are government agencies. Of course, they have to give you figures that will make you smile, because you appointed them. They cannot seem to be doing nothing. They must give you the impression that they are working. But in reality, what they are telling you that, look at food inflation, for goodness sake.
It's about 40 now. It's 40 now.
And you are telling us that the policies you are putting in place are yielding positive results. Where are the results? How can we reconcile that with the realities on ground? How much, by this time last year, for goodness sake, how much was a bag of rice? And how much is a bag of rice right now? A kg of cooking gas, what was it last year? And how much is it right now? So if these policies are actually yielding results, how come more and more, from your intro when you gave, more and more people are being pushed back into abject poverty? So is it until everybody dies? whatever policy that government puts in place must bring more food to the table and not to take away the little food that is already on the table. I have said it in over and over and again. We need government agencies responsible, for all of these things to come and tell us every year. These are the number of companies that were started, whether they are small, medium, and in fact, particularly small, medium, and medium enterprises. These were the number of companies that were started within this time frame of January 1st and December 1st, to December 31st. Now, at the end of the year, this is the number that came on stream. This is the number that has moved from category 1 to category A out of prosperity. This is the number that has, gone into extinction. This is the number that is doing well. Until we have these figures, for goodness sake, these are the things that will only, justify the statistics that are being rolled out by government.
And funny enough, we don't have those statistics.
And that is the issue, because these things are not there. Anybody can come and quote anything. Because these things are not there. This is actually the crucible to support that kind of argument, but it's not there. The only thing we know, the only thing you and I know, that in reality, I was talking to somebody yesterday when the president was delivering this budget speech. I said, look, if MBS comes to tell you that the price of food is going down in our markets because it's a government agency, well, we believe that they have all the machinery to be able to, come up with that kind of result. You want to believe them because we say, oh, that's official. Now, you step away from your house, you walk into the market, and you ask for, please, what is the price of this commodity? And they tell you something completely different from what MBS is telling you. Who are you going to believe? Are you going to plan based on MBS price? Or are you going to plan based on the things that they are selling in the market?
That's facing you in your eyes, right there.
So I think Mr. President must find a way. Of course, he has to listen to his officers he has appointed, those who are helping him to manage the economy, but he has to find a way to know what the average man on the street is facing. He has to find a way to know what is happening in reality, how the common man is facing this challenge of his economic policies. That is the reality. Now, you're saying that the exchange rate, you want to peg it at 1,500. Good. Now, it simply means that what we have now is not determined by market forces. Because if it is determined by market forces, you cannot come and tell me that you peg it here. That means it's market forces that should tell us what it should be.
Yeah, so in other words, it's a controlled inflation.
Basically, that means what we have now is a controlled. So stop telling us it's market forces. It's a controlled price system. It's a controlled, exchange rate. There's nothing market about it.
Let's still talking about control and all. Are you aware that there's a bill on the prohibition of foreign currency use in Nigeria, which has scaled first reading in the Senate? What are your thoughts on this first? Do you think this is supposed to help the economy in any way whatsoever?
Yes, it should, but I doubt if this is just going to be mere academic. Because the truth is, there are still, what about the airlines that are charging charging in dollars? And see, businessmen in Nigeria, those who are into business, both international and local, they will tell you that, look, given what is happening to our currency, you can only plan realistically with the dollar. And let me also tell you, if you look at what 47.9 trillion, now you look at the revenue, the expected revenue, the revenue expectation for this budget is about 34 or so trillion. Now, where is the other one going to come from? Borrowing.
Borrowing, that's what he said.
Yes, both local and foreign. Now, remember also two things. One, that even the revenue you're talking about, a good chunk of it is going to go into servicing of already existing debts.
Right.
Number two, remember also that this revenue you're talking about is predicated on this 30-something trillion revenue that is expected on. It's predicated on the passage of the tax reform bill. Because once the tax reform bill is passed and signed into law, it's going to open up the space and more revenue is expected to fall into government, right?
Yeah.
What about if, given the politics that we are seeing right now, that bill does not see the light of the day before January, because the whole of this, and for goodness sake, why would, the Senate president is saying that the current 2024 budget is going to be extended till about mid-year or so. Why would they, are you telling me that it will take you from now to mid-year before you pass this budget? Now, if you pass the 2025 budget, what will the old budget be doing till mid-year?
Yeah.
Because the moment you pass this budget, 2025 budget into law, the president signs it, it knocks off completely the old budget and takes effect. So that is why, you know, I don't know. I really, when you look at this whole thing, you find out. Somebody was saying yesterday, look, the best thing is, you know, you plan for yourself. Yes, that appears to be the only way. But how realistic it is, because the government controls practically every aspect of your life, apart from God. The next you know, controlling authority you have is government. You can't. You just have to, you know, flow with their decisions.
Very well. We'll see how all this develops into eventually. I mean, we'll still get into the end of the year. It's not over yet. But then, from your perspective, do you see anything changing in the new year for the positive? I mean, by the way, landing cost of fuel has reduced, by the way. I just saw that recently, today.
It's no longer market forces. There's a cosmetic force that is there, you know, that has decided that, look, this is where we are. Come rain, come sunshine. We can't go lower than this. And for me, if you ask me, I want to believe that actually there's a force that is holding it.
Anyway, thank you so much, Emeka, for coming. Always a pleasure. Thank you. So much. And this will be the size of the package today on the Eastern Business Report. You're still watching the Afia Business Morning live from...
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owner, showcasing Igbo great. What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
You want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show.